So the third track on Alpha is the Dharamsala Blues. And again, when I was backpacking, I went all over India, from as far south as Tiruvananthapuram, as far west as the Thar Desert near Pakistan, as far east as Calcutta, and as far north as Dharamsala, or McLeodganj, which was this little hilltop place in the foothills of the Himalayas, where the Dalai Lama has his residence in exile, having fled Tibet in 1959. And I was really interested in going to northern India to visit Rishikesh, which is another story, because the Beatles had written the songs on the White Album there, and the White Album is like my favorite album. And so I went to Rishikesh, and there was nothing magical about that place. Having Lennon, McCartney, and Harrison up there, that was what was special, all those guys writing those songs. And Ringo wrote a song. But I ended up having the most amazing time in Dharamsala. And the day I arrived, I'd heard the Dalai Lama was doing like public teaching. And I was in Delhi. I was waiting for my friend Griff, the guy who mixed the album, to arrive. He was late, as usual. He was in Ireland, I think, and he couldn't make it. So I visited Rajasthan. And then finally I was like, well, I don't know where Griff is, damn it. I'm going to Dharamsala, and I'm going to hang out with the Dalai Lama. And what I did was, I just showed up the day of my arrival. I was like, where does the Dalai Lama live? And they're like, oh, it's up the hill. And so I went to his house, and I think the gate was open or unlocked, and I went in. And, this was pre-9/11, there wasn't any security, I remember. I mean, there were obviously some other people there. I wouldn't have trespassed or anything. But I just kind of showed up, and I remember it was raining that day. I had my camera with me. And I was like, the Dalai Lama here, I want to say hello, Hi. Hello, Dalai. So someone there who spoke English was like, oh yeah, he's giving a lecture, just wait, and he's going to come down. So I did, I waited, and then he came down, and I was like, hi, he's like, hey, what's going on? I clipped a photo. And then I left. But he looked at me like, because he knew, like, hey, white boy, you must have come a long way. And it was a great experience. I did a little meditation retreat for 13 days, I think, at this place called Tushita Meditation Center in the village, just above his residence. And while I was there, I read his autobiography, which is called Freedom in Exile. And as I was reading it, I was writing a song. And it was kind of a blues song. And then I ended up using the story in the autobiography as the basis for the lyrics, right? They came with good intentions and 1,000 loaded guns. We tried to raise a white flag. We ended up with a red one. We asked the West to help us. We took refuge in the South. When pushing came to shoving, there was no other way out. Now I've got the Dharamsala blues, 100,000 refugees on the move. I don't wanna live my life under a chopstick knife. I got the Dharamsala blues. And I ended up recording that as well in China, which is weird because he's persona non grata there. But it was one of those songs I had, and I was like, God, it's a really good song. I played it for this dude, Remi Kabaka, who supposedly played drums with Hendrix the night before he died, or the night he died or something. Remi was a conga player, played with the Stones, played with Paul McCartney, and I was like, that's a hit, boy, it's a hit, that's a hit. So I was like, well, Remi digs it, I gotta record it. I actually just sent it to the Dalai Lama, sent a link. His assistant wrote me back. He's like, thank you, it's very nice. I'll send him an MP3 when it's done. Anyway, so that's the Dharamsala Blues. Me. Oh, I did actually meet him again. He had like some kind of, like reception thing, and there was a bunch of people there this time. And he gave me a puja, the red string, this offering for long life, which I think I lost the next day. But it didn't make it any less special. So, yeah. There you go. True story.